Today I'll be making Belizean Johnny Cakes, and I know there are tutorials out there, but I just wanted to show you that it's easy for a university or a college student.
Hey, editing Vivi here. I'm gonna take over from now on because this girl has no clue what she's talking about right now and she's wasting your time. So, the first thing I did is I gathered all my ingredients because I'm just that strict about cooking. And all the ingredients will be in the description box below with as exact measurements as I could find, because if you know Belizean people, we don't measure things to a T, we just add things until it feels right. So here I'm just showing you some ingredients. I don't have a mixing bowl, alright? I have a pot. And don't come for me, I'm not rich. Mixing bowls are just bowls that have a fancy name. I'm not used to some of these brands, but because I'm not in Belize, I just made it work. So I added my flour to the mix, and you don't need to see me do this. I like poking the flour just for fun, add playfulness to the recipe, you know. Oh, before I forget, you have to add love in this recipe, and a lot of people add love as just one ingredient. Not me. I like to coat my entire hands in love, because if your hands are coated in love, then everything you touch and add in will have love. After, I put in some salt. Now, I know a few pinches isn't exact measurement, but that's the best I could tell you. I added 4 pinches of salt and I have small hands. I hope that helps. I added 3 teaspoons of baking powder, but I didn't fill up the teaspoons to the brim. So that's the way I learned it. That's the way I'm teaching you. I usually use Grace coconut powder. Make sure you open it with your teeth because as a Belizean, you don't have time to go look for a scissors. I don't know who Maggie is. I have no beef with her, but her coconut powder could have been better. It's no Grace coconut powder, you know? This next point is optional. You could add some sugar. It looks like I added 3 teaspoons, but in reality, I added a teaspoon and a half. I never fill it up to the brim, so take that as you will. Don't add too much. This isn't supposed to be no sweet bread. It's just supposed to be a nice breakfast or dinner kind of thing. Next, you're going to want to mix all the dry ingredients very well together. Your cameraman might get too close to the ingredients. That's fine. Fire him later. This is an important step because you don't want grains of salt and sugar unmixed in your dough. It tastes nasty. Trust me. Also, your cameraman might put a weird angle on you. That's fine. I actually ended up adding in exactly 1 tablespoon of butter. But then my Belizean instincts kicked in and I added in extra butter just because. No reason. Then I added in a 1/3 cup of oil, or if you're using lard, you add whatever that is in lard. And now mix that dough. There's no avoiding it. You've got to get your hands dirty. Mix it until a wild SpongeBob appears. But by that time, it should hold this texture that you see on your screen. And that means that you're ready to add warm water. I don't have a kettle or anything fancy like that. I warm my water in the microwave and I add it in small portions. Don't add all at one time. In total, I ended up adding about 1/2 cup of water for my dough. It might vary from time to time. You want to knead it so that all the dough sticks together, but the dough doesn't stick to your hand. And just beat that dough. Show that dough who's boss. Take out all your pent-up anger on this dough. Don't be afraid to get rough with it, because you know what? You coated your hands in love, and that means no matter how harsh you are with this dough, love is going into it. Best believe. In my opinion, this is the best time to preheat your oven. I'll mention that in the video, but it's also going to be in the description box down below. You also need a flat, clean surface to knead the dough on properly. I don't have that because again, I'm not rich. I have a green basin and this works just fine. If you're nervous about your dough sticking, you could flour the bottom of your surface first. In my case, I ended up doing that a bit later because after kneading a bit, it felt stickier. And yeah, just go ham on this dough. I must advise, don't leave your dough unmanaged because your cameraman might come over and try to poison it, as you can see here. But I came back and caught him, and now he's in jail, so no problems. Let me tell you something about this recipe. You are a boss if you could make this recipe. Man or woman, it doesn't matter. And guess what? This is how you get back your ex. I'm that boss in the kitchen. Stick with me and you will be that boss too. So in total, I kneaded the dough for about 10 to 15 minutes. That's usually enough time. You'll see I added a little bit of flour, but that didn't really add extra time to it. The next part is the really artistic part, I guess you could say. It takes experience and a lot of practice. This part is rolling the little dough balls into the actual Johnny cake shapes. So you want to roll a golf ball size kind of thing. If you're like me and you didn't know what the size of a golf ball is, just make it the size of the palm of your hands, as long as you flatten it to about half an inch or a centimeter and a half in width, as you could see I'm doing here. Then I prepared my baking pan. It's non-stick, so I didn't need to oil it. However, if you don't have non-stick, you could just lightly oil your pan. Don't judge my pan, it's my pan. I love this pan. This next part is perfect if you have children over in your house. You could have them help you poke holes in the Johnny cakes. That gives it its iconic look. And this is what not to do. I got a crooked fork and I really butchered these Johnny cakes. But it's fine because then I just got a better fork and I fixed my mistakes. So you could fix any child mistakes with these Johnny cakes. So like that, once they're out the kitchen, you fix it, they had fun, you get beautiful Johnny cakes if you're a perfectionist like me. All that's left to do now is to bake these Johnny cakes. I popped mine in the oven for about 35 minutes. It usually takes around 30 to 40 minutes. It depends on your oven and of course the ingredients you used. All the details of how I bake these will be in the description box down below. Comment if you actually made this and how it turned out. I'd love to know. And yeah, that's it guys. It was super easy. These smell great. You usually want to wait after taking them out from the oven, but I don't have that kind of patience. I run them straight to my table to cut them open. Let me know down below if you've had a Johnny cake before and how you ate it. I prefer mine cut in half, and then I usually add happy cow cheese or any type of soft cheese with butter, and it usually comes out so good. I've heard people eat it with beans. I've done that before, and I know some people eat it with ham and cheese, sometimes even with the cheese whiz. And when you cut it open, it will have this delicious inside, so soft, so warm. I can't put into words how good these are, so try it for yourself. Here I prepared mine with some butter and cheese like I said before, and now all that's left to do is to eat them. And for some reason this weird girl showed up again and started eating my food. Anyways, I just let her have it because these are meant to be shared. You're being too selfish if you just keep these to yourself. I hope you try them. Let me know down below if you want any other kind of Belizean recipes. I'll try and make them. I'm not in Belize right now, so I'm trying my best with what I have. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.